The views, opinions, and representations expressed on the Night Dreams Talk Radio Network and its website are those of the hosts, guests, and participants, and are not necessarily those of or endorsed by the network, its affiliated stations and broadcasts, the management, other hosts, or advertisers of the network. The shows found on the Night Dreams Talk Radio Network can, but do not necessarily, promote any particular lifestyle, belief, religion, political affiliation, or other personal practice. These shows are for entertainment purposes only, and are not intended to treat, diagnose, and or claim any cure of disease or condition, or give any medical or legal advice.
If you would like to hear Night Dreams Talk Radio on your local radio station, let them know. Tell them to check out www.nightdreamstalkradio.com, and thank you.
Eric Cooper, S-4 Radio, on Night Dreams Talk Radio Network, gets deep into the paranormal.
Good evening or morning, depending where you are, and welcome to S-4, the voice of Forest Moon Paranormal, coming to you live from FMP headquarters in the heart of the Cascade Mountains in Concrete, Washington. FMP is a highly active emergency response team for all aspects of the paranormal, from aggressive hauntings, alien interaction, Bigfoot and other cryptids, and everything in between is terrifying. S4 is a voice where we discuss these things in depth. Not only can you find S4 right here on Night Dreams Talk Radio, but for our local listeners, also on KSVU 90.1 FM from 10 to 12 p.m. Saturdays with pre-recorded shows. So, folks, tonight, it's the 23rd of March, my mate's birthday. Happy birthday, Izzy. And we are having our monthly roundtable, where we gather around, kick back, ask questions of each other about the last month, or just anything paranormal or conspiracy issue that may have been baffling. So tonight, we have Cole Wegleitner, our FMP Lore and Culture Research Specialist and owner of Statement of Sound DJ Services, Megan Gehring, Astral Team and Security Specialist, Gary Anderson, our network host of Night Dreams Talk Radio, Chris and Brent Dodge, Chris Extended Care and Brent with Astral, and we have Eric Markham. We haven't had Markham on the show for, close to a year now. And he is our FMP scientist. So how are we all doing tonight?
Excellent.
Good.
Doing great.
It's so good to have Markham on the show tonight.
It's good to be here.
Yes.
So we can catch up on science. All right. Oh, God. So it was a long day, and it kind of leads into a question I've got for everyone. So, but we're going to start with eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Megan, what's your question tonight, Megan?
Oh, geez. Okay, well, I guess since Markham's right here and available, I'm going to go with my sciencey question.
Right on.
Yeah, so I read an article that kind of came out this week. Scientists are preparing sometime in the next 5 years to start manipulating chicken DNA using CRISPR technology to make dinosaurs. So they want Jurassic Park to be real. And I guess my question is, because I have my own opinion on that, is this safe? Is this actually doable?
One of the problems I've always had with the whole dinosaur thing is when dinosaurs roamed the Earth, the oxygen content in the atmosphere was a hell of a lot thicker than it is now.
Yeah.
So if they're going to try and back-engineer these things, they're going to have to really get into lung capacity, the size. You know, they may be able to come up with dinosaurs, but they're not going to be able to get beyond the size of what a land mammal or, you know, a reptile is right now, because the atmosphere simply would not support, say, you know, think of a Diplodocus or a Brachiosaur, these towering 80-foot tall animals like Jurassic Park. Those are not going to be able to sustain themselves in our modern atmosphere. Now, let aside the fact that it's almost like, have they watched Jurassic Park? This is a bad idea. It is.
Right.
I can see like maybe bringing back some of the megafauna, like ground sloths or mammoths, in that those weren't oversized and weren't known for eating tourists.
But wouldn't it also create a butterfly effect in a way?
I don't think so.
Where would you put them?
They're going to be museum. I think the ethical component here is you're bringing back a extinct species. They went extinct for a reason, and also you're condemned. It's not going to be like you're going to turn them loose in the prairies of Wyoming or something like. You're creating a bunch of animals whose only purpose is going to be to live in zoos or display parks of some kind, wildlife parks. So I'm really not on board with it. CRISPR can be used, that kind of technology can be used for medicines, for cancer treatments, for, I just recently, in January, I lost my mother to ovarian cancer. Let's not screw around with trying to bring extinct animals back. Let's do something with this technology worthwhile. Let's cure some of the scourge diseases that are in our population.
Exactly.
Totally agree.
I think a lot of them are thinking, though, that they can actually cure the diseases by bringing some of these creatures back. It might lead to the discovery of certain cures.
I could see the fauna more than the flora and fauna more so than the dinosaurs themselves, though.
One of the problems, though, if you bring back, we can look at our own ecosystems here in America. The starlings have become a problem. They aren't native to the United States. They were brought over because I think there was a Shakespeare sonnet that mentioned. Anyhow, they were introduced as a fad, and now they million bird flocks. The Asian carp. They're afraid those are going to make it into into Lake Michigan and create a complete ecosystem collapse. There are already places in the rivers where you can't run your boat because you might end up with a 40-pound fish bouncing off your head. There's actually been some people that have died from these stupid carp panicking and jumping into boats and hitting people in the head. So if you're bringing something like this back, we don't know their ecology at all, because this is what we see is not necessarily in our fossil record. There's whole species that we haven't discovered, maybe never will. So we don't know. There might have been some out there that was a predator for T-Rex, or there was something that kept some kind of predator or some limiting factor on these creatures. What if we bring back something as innocent as a type of beetle, or we bring back some kind of flora, some kind of plant? Well, the problem with that is, look at what kudzu, imported from Japan, has done in the South here in America. It overgrows. I mean, we don't have an effective countermeasure. So anytime you bring something out of the past and introduce it into a new environment, you have the potential for disaster there, because we can't know what the conditions it lived in. We can guess, we can go by ice cores, but we don't have the whole picture.
Well,
you introduce something and it has no natural predator.
Can I ask you a question?
What?
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Okay, by bringing them back, they're going to be doing gene splicing. So how are they going to accurately bring back the original, whatever? prehistoric animal back. By gene splicing, hey, I don't trust it.
I don't either. A lot of what we have tried to do with gene splicing has failed, and I think in a way it might be nature has a safety valve to keep us from doing stupid stuff. But as our technology gets better, we're finding out we can circumvent some of what the roadblocks nature puts in our way. It's kind of like when you start to do something and that nagging voice in the back of your head says, this isn't going to end well, and you do it anyway, and it turns out to be a disaster. We're actually getting where our technology is actually getting kind of past where we can get around that little voice. And I'm not sure that's a good idea.
Well, how about you go into the DNA, the splicing, okay? Look at all the junk DNA. So, I mean, they're guessing at, so whatever they're bringing back isn't going to be the original creature, the species.
No. And, I can elaborate a little bit.
Whoops.
Whoa. Sorry. I can elaborate a little bit about what the article tried to explain about chickens. They basically said that they would take the chicken tail and actually make like a raptor-like tail, what it originally was, by using CRISPR. And then the wings on a chicken would actually grow into forward arms. And then their beak would become more snout-like, specifically. And that's by using a chicken.
That reminds me of a jackalope.
Yeah. Well, I think one of the things, the reasons they're using chicken is if you look back at, I believe it was the paleontologist Bob Bacher. I think he was the first one that posited the theory that the dinosaurs, now the theropods, there's different types of dinosaurs. There's the sauropods, like the Dimetrodon, the early ones, the Triassic period, the ones we think of when you say dinosaur, Velociraptor, Triceratops. These were theropods, and they have a slightly different lineage, and they supposedly evolved into what became modern birds. Chicken, turkey,